Hello, you're listening to a We Will Fix It podcast short with Colin Thomas and myself, James Piecowye.
That people don't think about, as you mentioned, is, okay, you've got the initial immediate effects, physical water coming through the ceiling, power going off. And the main one here is water inside the conduit pipes.
And Glenn was talking about this in his place. He's got 3 pipes. Two of them didn't have anything going through them, and they just became a pool.
Yeah.
And the third one had wires, and it got soaked. He was describing to me, he was up on the roof. He's got
he bought his own compressor as well, which is kind of useful.
Rags.
And that is a limitation from what we work with.
He said he couldn't seal them up. There was so much water, so much rain coming down. He couldn't get it dry enough so that he could put sealant on, even, bodging, caulking just to do whatever. He couldn't get it to work. And I was thinking, here's the mechanic who's thinking about all this stuff, and he's got no ability because of the deluge to actually stop the water. Construction
glue does that.
Yeah. And I thought he must have some of this stuff somewhere.
I don't think so.
He does now.
Well, what Glenn has that will work on absolutely anything is windscreen sealant.
Right.
That stuff's amazing.
Yeah.
So, he would have had access to that. But again, it's kind of difficult when it's teaming it down and you're looking at the various bits and bobs.
Yeah.
So in the
conduits. You got the conduits.
Yeah, the conduit. So just to explain to people, conduit is normally a plastic pipe. Sometimes it can be metal, depending on the application, where it is used to shield the physical wires that go through that conduit.
Yeah.
So they're running all the way through your house, and from the roof down to the ground floor level, through the standard access shafts, they are there. But the problem is, if they are open at either end and they're not glanded, this is a particular part that's designed to seal these things, then water will get in, and at that point the water basically just pools around the cable, and eventually it will find a little nick, and at that point you've got some fun and games going on.
So this is an interesting one, because I'm thinking in the UK, I'm thinking Canada, and typically conduit entry points look a little bit like a candy cane in that they hoop up. So the wire goes in, and so you've got this kind of a situation where the wire's going in here and then going down. So the idea of rain collecting on the wire is pretty hard.
Yeah.
Why aren't they doing that here?
Well, that's a twin and earth setup normally that we have in the UK, and but it is kind of harder cable, and it works in a kind of different way. It's more flex here.
Right.
Why are they not doing that?
Lazy? Doesn't rain enough?
Doesn't rain enough. If you imagine in the UK, a guy installs it, it's going to rain within 24 hours. And you're calling him back
when he's doing it.
Yeah. So therefore, you get away with it less here than you would do in the UK than you would do here. So that tends to be where those issues lie.
All right.
But then there's so many people who've got the waterproofing issue.
Right. Well, Glenn had the second problem, is the water then was coming down with the cabling, must have hit his power box, shorted out the entire house, but went further and hit the DWA box as well.
But when it hits the DWA box, then you're in trouble.
Right.
That's painful.
So he said he had multiple problems, because DWA said, yeah, look, we can come and reset it. But if you're going to trip it again from your house, we're going to charge you again.
Yeah.
And so then he called you guys. You guys came in. You guys did your thing and said, we can't do anything more until the power's on, until you've got electricity.
We can't test it.
You can't test it.
That's where the problem lies.
Yeah. And he's going, I'm going to catch 22, because if it's...
He is in a serious catch-22 there. But, the ridiculousness of Dubai, again, is this shouldn't be Glenn's issue. This should be the landlord's issue.
Yeah.
Now, the truth of the matter is, it is Glenn's issue, because he's the one with a family that's getting cold showers at the moment, and have various other things that are compromised, and the landlords don't really care.
Yeah.
And that's so frustrating, and I hope that regulation comes in more.
There was a second issue that, again, we'll use Glenn as the example, but this is Dubai-wide, and Glenn just is talking about it. He's got a bit of a water leak beyond the conduit in different parts of his accommodation, and he's putting it down. They had hail, which, again, we didn't get hail where we were, but he had pretty big hailstones landing. Flat roof, the membrane seam got compromised with the heavy rain, with the hail, he figures, and now he's got a leak.
See, this is the other issue of Dubai.
You did this big switch.
Yeah. And the difficulty is, for waterproofing, if you imagine there is a tiny little window, probably about 3 weeks every year, where people need waterproofing.
Yeah.
Therefore, it doesn't make sense for somebody to set up a waterproofing business because they've got 3 weeks of demand
Yeah.
and the rest of the time they've got zero. So that ain't going to be sustainable. What that means is companies like ours, we've talked many times about the fact we do not take things on that we are non-specialists in. It doesn't make financial sense to me to train up people or my team in waterproofing for 3 weeks worth of demand where we're absolutely flat out on electrical recovery systems and all this kind of stuff instead. So what you get is...
Although, well, I guess you don't do a lot. You don't do any tile work, really.
No, so we're not civil either.
So you don't have the guys who are doing the membranes and
Exactly.
showers. So, okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Sorry to interrupt there.
So you end up with the budget merchants that
Right.
are the only people. Oh, yes, we could do that, sir. What was it again that you said you wanted doing? It's only that outfit that are available. Because, again, the fit-out guys who would be capable of doing that kind of work are like, that's tiny. There's no point me even starting on that for what? I'm going to make 400, 500 dirhams off that. It's not even worth it. So you are stuck in that situation here. And the truth of the matter is, if it doesn't make financial sense for somebody to take on a job, they won't. Unless they really are desperate.